as I was sitting on the floor today, putting up the pattern and taping the pieces together,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh man, I'm glad the cats are taking a nap because, this would be a real problem if they started walking over things.
Did the
And then
very act
eventually,
of thinking about them summon them?
well, it was almost done, and each of them came into the room. And I think the way I reacted to it very much like describes who they are, or it like indicates who they are as cats. Because
Mm-hmm.
Nyx came first. And I was like, oh, Nixie, come here. She took like one slight step onto it. And I said, no. And she stepped back off of it.
Very polite.
Yep, she's such a good cat. And then the second I saw Luna a couple minutes later, I'm like, oh no, get out of here.
Ain't that just the way?
Your sister is a good cat. When I tell her no, she usually listens.
Usually.
This one,
Naughty baby.
never, never, never. Nyx welcomed with open arms. Luna was like, no, go the other way. Anywhere else.
We love. We stand one naughty baby.
Aw, you don't goof.
What's good? Other than your cats.
Well, we got Banana Man here, our third co-host.
Oh, Banana Man, how I love you. Yeah, I mean, that kind of brings us to a solid
Yeah,
first point here.
yeah.
Anything from this past weekend that we feel was worth sharing?
Oh, Banana Man was our
Banana
co-pilot
Man,
throughout.
of course.
Yep, yep. He's just a great, weird little dude.
Love him so much.
He's Banana.
With his little banana butt cheeks.
Yep. Little, nope, banana.
No, no, that doesn't work. I don't
Not
know.
really. I don't know. What did we do?
Um,
We
hold on, this might be loud. I'm gonna adjust my microphone real quick. Hopefully that wasn't too excruciating for the people. Anyway,
I think it was fine. We watched.
we sorry.
We watched.
We watched a lot of Attack on Titan. I'm just like doing a million little things. We watched a lot of Attack on Titan. That was fun. We went to Joanne's. That was exciting. The
I think now I have to go there like every 2 days or something, or
mhm.
something
I
happened.
think
I
a
don't know what.
big like vibe for this past weekend, just in general, was enrichment time in our enclosure.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of what we did.
Uh huh.
Hi, Luna.
Just looking up at me and purring.
Love her. I wish I understood what's happening with my camera.
I don't know. This is 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, no, it's really bugging me.
Mm.
Anyway, um, oh, we went on a lovely little adventure to Hudson, New York,
Yeah.
and I found a funky little guy in an antique store. That was fun. We found several funky little guys in various antique stores, which just like, is always a vibe in my personal opinion.
Mhm. Got myself that Monty Python's Flying Circus record.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty exciting stuff.
Always
And he's
exciting.
William Art. I'm like, yes.
Yep. Um, but yeah.
Off at me.
So perhaps not our wildest weekend ever, but still a
No,
good time.
it was super chill. And you know what I realized, like, I think it was on the drive home, we didn't have a single alcoholic beverage at your home.
Damn! Oh my God, we didn't.
No, and the only we had one alcoholic beverage each, but
It was in a
at
restaurant.
yeah, I had a beer and you had a cocktail and that
Are
was
we
it.
losing our touch? We haven't like turned the hell up in a red
Yeah,
hot minute.
no, I think it was just the chill weekend. But you know what? We have another weekend coming up in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I really do have to try to fix this now because it's getting super bad.
Mm-hmm. I'll just sit here and eat some of these. I got caramel pandas.
Ooh, fun.
They're quite tasty.
any of this make a difference? Let's hope so.
Maybe.
And I almost just ran over my own foot with my desk chair.
Nice.
Crushing it.
You would have been crushing it.
Yeah, quite literally. Crushing my own foot. I'm doing so great as an adult human being. I'm so good at functioning. Anyway, so the first thing that I have for us to discuss, I'm going to drop this in the chat right now. It's slightly old news, and by the time that we're discussing this, maybe it's super old news, just because of the pace at which the internet moves. But we're going to talk about it anyway because the tweet is screenshots from an Am I the Asshole Reddit post, and the account is Caitlin Ann at Caitlin Ann on Twitter. Perfectly low stakes but bonkers Am I the Asshole just dropped, y'all. And then I will read this out loud. Am I the asshole because I brought a bottle of ranch into a restaurant? Last night I went out to dinner with Michael. It was our third date and he took me to one of his favorite restaurants. It was a hole-in-the-wall Polish/Hungarian place. We ordered our food and he ordered a sampler plate so I could try different things. There's very few things I don't eat with ranch. I just like it and it helps make some things easier to eat, so I always have it with my meals. When we got our food, I asked for some ranch. The waiter said they didn't have any and offered to bring out some kind of sour cream and dill sauces. I tried them and they just weren't the same. I told Michael I'd be right back, took my wallet, and left the restaurant. I had seen a convenience store close by when arriving, so I went, bought a bottle of ranch, and came back. Moving on to the second screenshot of this post. Michael looked shocked but didn't say anything and ate his food. The food was great and we got some conversation going when the waiter came over and said outside food wasn't allowed. I said dressing isn't outside food and they didn't have what I needed to enjoy my meal. I didn't want to ruin the evening, so I took it out to my car and returned. When we finished and left, Michael thanked me for coming out with him, but said it was really off-putting that I had to leave and go buy a bottle of dressing instead of just going one meal without it. I told him I wouldn't have had to do that if they had had ranch or any dressings like a normal restaurant. He didn't walk me to my car or anything and just left. I went home and told my roommate about my date and his attitude, and she asked me if I was being serious. She thinks I had bad etiquette and embarrassed Michael to the point that he was probably going to stop talking to me. I don't think what I did was really all that bad. It was a condiment, not an entire meal from someplace. Was I wrong for what I did? So low stakes, but absolutely bonkers.
That is a solid YTA right there.
I am going to agree. Because here's the thing.
Man, yeah.
I understand that some people, like, aren't necessarily, like, picky by choice. Like, they have, like texture issues or, like, you know, a lot of weird things that can, like, you know, make you stick to certain things that are safe for you. So on the one hand, I do get being, you know, reluctant to try things that are outside of your comfort zone, maybe just not vibing with certain types of cuisines that are like, you know, really heavily tomato based or involve a lot of like, you know, something that just grosses you out no matter how many times like times and ways you try it. But just the fact that this person says in the second part of the Am I the Asshole that the restaurant didn't have any normal things, that pisses me off.
First of all, super ethnocentric.
Incredibly.
Like, only American is normal.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, that bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, there are several... Sorry, I'm trying to keep Luna from getting things.
Oh, you're all good.
There are several issues here. First of all, she agreed to go to this place. And she should have known that if it's a Polish/Hungarian place, that they're not going to have ranch dressing.
Fair.
She acknowledges that the food was great. And so it's not even like, oh, this is a food I don't like, and so I had to cover it with ranch or something. No, she acknowledged that it was great.
Yeah.
So she doesn't need it in that way.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
no. It's if you're like again, it's one thing if you're kind of like trying to like politely eat something that you're like, yeah, I really don't like this, but I'm just like gonna deal with it.
yeah,
But she said it was great. So like, yeah, I'm
yeah,
gonna go big YTA here.
yeah. She also tried the sauces they brought out, and she was like, yeah, they just weren't the same. It's like, yeah, they're not the same because they're not
Yeah,
the same.
cuz
It doesn't mean they're
it's
bad.
different.
Yeah, and it's like also the fact that it's one meal. You can
Yeah.
go one meal
Yeah, no, I
without.
think I think her date makes an excellent point like it's once.
Well, no, that's not the date. That's the
Oh, the
roommate.
roommate. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and that's the thing is this is only the third date
Yeah.
with this guy.
Yeah.
Like a third date, I would wait until I was way more comfortable if I wanted to pull something like that. Like
Yeah.
because
I don't know.
just
Actually, which kind of leads me into like another thing we can discuss. At what point do you start getting weird with someone?
yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's a whole thing.
Like, I kind of want to make that the next discussion point now that we've sort of stumbled upon it.
Well, but I still have things.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, we can definitely wrap this up, but just putting that out there that I think that's a
Yeah.
good topic. Continue.
I the fact that when the server said like you couldn't have outside food, the fact that she felt the need to argue and say dressing isn't food. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Condiments are
no.
still they are edible items. They are food.
And also, just in general, just like leave waiters alone.
Yes.
They are just
Well,
doing their jobs.
her also saying they didn't have what I needed to enjoy my meal.
Yeah, you
To
already said the food was good.
and it's like it almost sounds accusatory. Like, how dare you not have what
Yeah,
I need to enjoy my meal? And it's like
yeah,
great food. You already said so. Like, clearly you could have enjoyed it. I just
yeah, no. The vibes here are just very bad.
yeah, I think that I what my perspective on this can be boiled down to just one phrase: grow the fuck up.
Yeah, no, honestly.
You're a child.
Yeah.
Children need ranch dressing or ketchup to eat anything. I'm assuming that if you're going on dates, you're a grown ass person,
Mm-hmm.
and even if you think the meal will be slightly less enjoyable without ranch dressing,
Live with it.
look it up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
I just, oh man, I just don't get it.
Because they
I just,
also, and I mean, like, not that everyone should be, like, required to, like, disclose, like, oh, I have, like, XYZ, like, problem with
yeah,
certain things. But they also don't say, like, I have, like, texture issues with X, Y, and Z, or, like, there are these food restrictions that I deal with. It's just, like, they're just like, oh, this is, like, lesser because of it doesn't have this, like, thing that kind of has nothing to do with Polish/Hungarian food.
yeah. I
So,
mean,
like,
yeah, it specifically says, I just like it, and it helps make some things easier to eat.
yeah, that's it.
That's all she says in the post. Yeah, so it's not even like it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she doesn't understand, like, one of the things that really gets me is it specifically says that they went to one of his favorite restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you probably had that feeling where you're like showing somebody one of your favorite places for the first time and you're like excited. They're like, oh, you're gonna love this, it's gonna be so good. And then that person leaves to get ranch dressing, comes back and douses the food in it.
I would set myself on fire.
Ouch. Like,
Like,
that would hurt me after taking that person to that place.
if I do that with, like, a song, like, if I show somebody, like, a song and they're not vibing as much as I hoped they would, like, ow. If somebody did that with, like, one of my actual favorite, like, kind of, like, underground little indie places, like, oh my god, I love this place, like, let me take you out and treat you, like, oh my god.
But see, this is even like worse though, because if you're not enjoying a song, it's like you're still just kind of sitting there. You're not going out of your way
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to make issues.
Yeah, this is
And
infinitely worse.
yeah, actively making it worse, intentionally doing a thing to make it worse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, bad.
I have so
Bad
many issues
vibes.
with that. And yeah, the part that really bothers me is her saying the thing about it. She wouldn't have had to do that if they had ranch or any dressings like a normal restaurant. That's the part that really bothered me.
Yeah, I'm gonna capital YTA and fuck off, grow up,
Yeah.
expand your horizons.
Yeah, and also I know this is an unpopular opinion. Uh, I'm not a huge fan of ranch. I think it's very basic and kind of fatty and gross.
Yeah, I'm really not a ranch person either.
And so like it would be one thing if it were something that was actually good,
Yeah.
like a nice balsamic.
Mm-hmm.
I would understand it more. But the fact that you're going to get the most like
Mm-hmm.
embarrassingly quintessential American thing
Yep.
to put on your food makes it so much worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I'm just thinking about the fact that I used to work at a pizza place which has since closed because the I don't know if it's because, but the owners turned out to be insane anti-vaxxers. So there's that, and this place is closed now.
Yeah.
But
I thought we agreed that they went bankrupt because they were giving away too much free pizza
yeah,
at their events.
yeah, at their weird right-wing anti-vaxxer events. But God, they had this amazing balsamic glaze that they put on the pizza.
I
So
They
good.
put it on the bruschetta too, which I have. I went out and bought balsamic glaze because of that. I have some.
Hell, I love a good balsamic glaze. God, that shit's
Mm-hmm.
delicious.
Got some in the cabinet. I put it on everything I can that makes sense for.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, big time. You are the asshole here. I love these. Like again, so low stakes, but just insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a podcast called Two Hot Takes, and I have to email them because I wanted to collaborate with them because their whole deal is that they just go through "Am I the asshole?" posts and like
Mm-hmm.
give their thoughts, and I really want to like do a collab episode with them because I think that would be so much fun. So one, if you're seeing this, hi, please email us at fightingwfriendspodcast at gmail.com. And hi, your podcast is really fun. I like it. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean, this particular post I had seen already in my various social media wherever's.
Yeah, so this is potentially old news by the time that this is being released to the general public, but that is both the advantage and disadvantage of recording things a week in advance. Because like
Yeah.
we have time to sit on things and think about them, but the internet might have also moved on by that point. But you know, ain't that just the way?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is on this bitch of an earth sometimes. So would we like to now potentially talk about when you are allowed to start getting weird with a person that you're dating?
I think it should be measured in time, not necessarily number of
I
dates.
would agree.
Oh, let me think on this.
Because I'm trying to remember the exact point when Kyle said he was coming over for a date. And I was like, oh, we're gonna, like, you know, it was already at the point where we were like, oh, making dino nugs is a thing that we do now. And
Mm-hmm.
it didn't take that long, but just because of who we are as people. But I was like, oh, come over. We'll, like, watch a movie. I'm gonna make dino nugs. He was like, I'll bring barbecue sauce. Because I didn't have any. And I was dog sitting at someone else's house. He was like, oh, I'll bring barbecue
Mm-hmm.
sauce. I was just like, and I literally texted back. I was like, that's hot. Like, because like saying I'll bring barbecue sauce is kind of a weird thing, and the fact that I also responded that's hot is also kind of like a slightly odd thing. Like, definitely not first date material. So like, it happened fast, but I don't remember precisely how fast.
Suppose it depends on how weird we're talking, because I actually wouldn't categorize either of those things as weird.
I don't know if Kyle would want any of the actual majorly weird things to be public knowledge.
Well, just talking, I'm just talking in abstracts.
Yeah, because I'm like, we're definitely there and have been for a hot minute. But I'm just trying to think of what
I
counts
mean,
as getting weird with it and when should you do that if
yeah,
things are going well. On the,
Depends on the
working on the
level.
assumption that things are going. And again, it all depends on the people. This is
Yeah.
just sort of a general vibe from our own personal experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it really just depends on how weird the weird thing is,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Because I'm trying to think of like a mildly weird thing I might do. It's none of them are springing to mind. It's all just super weird.
Okay, I'll cop to this. My ex-boyfriend never used to let me do this, and it was annoying because this is a fucking service I provide.
Mhm.
He wouldn't let me like attack the blackheads on his shoulders with one of those little pour tools.
Interesting.
This is a fucking service I provide, and he never let me do that.
Hmm. I think I'd be weird enough to personally.
That's fine, and maybe I'm just fucking gross.
Yeah.
Like we've had this discussion so many times,
Yeah.
but like my short king appreciates me.
Yeah. That's nice. That's nice.
Listen, I volunteered to sacrifice myself and say some potentially embarrassing information. So there you go. That's the kind of weird level I'm talking.
Yeah. No, I was
When do
trying to
you
think.
whip that out?
Yeah. I was just trying to think of like odd things that I do personally and at what point like it would be okay for somebody to witness those weird things. Like, oh, okay, so mildly weird. I got one. The fact that I always eat sandwiches around the outside first.
Yeah, what ooh. Like
See,
you
that's
can't do that. I'm
mildly.
sorry, you can't do that on a first date. Like you just can't.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be way too self-conscious about that, so I would just eat it like a normal human.
Mhm.
So like that, I wouldn't wait a terribly long time for because it like if a person likes me enough to have been dating me for like a month, I don't think they're gonna stop dating me because
Yeah, like I honestly I think you can explain that on like a third or fourth date.
yeah,
Honestly.
reasoning.
Yeah, not even that long.
Yeah.
Like
And my reasoning,
my example of weird activity, that takes more time.
yes, well that's why I was trying to develop a scale. So that's like the mild side.
Mhm. I would
Most of
agree.
my things I think of are eating based. So I was like, I would wait much longer for someone to see how I eat like the little Swiss cake rolls.
Oh my god, don't you unwrap like unfurl them?
I Yeah, I take all the chocolate around the outside off first and eat that separately and then like gradually unroll it and eat pieces of it.
You're so bizarre. I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it.
I similarly eat Kit Kats in a very strange way.
Huh?
I eat all the chocolate from the outside first. It's doable. And then I eat it layer by layer.
How come you didn't do that when we got the green tea, the matcha Kit Kats at Toricon?
Because there were people around.
What
And by
about when
people, I mean,
were all snacking on them in your living room?
and so I said, and by people, I mean you and Kyle.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever let anybody witness me eating a Kit Kat, actually.
Okay, well now I'm gonna like hound you about it because we've floated the idea of getting matching tattoos, and you're not gonna eat a Kit Kat in front of me.
It's it's a very weird thing I do. It's just like something I've done since childhood, and I just kind of never stopped.
I mean, sometimes it'd be like that. Hmm. Yeah, when would you break that out?
I don't
Because
know
like
because
I'm
I've
clearly
moved
not like
right.
a romantic partner, but we've
Yeah,
been friends for years now, and I haven't seen this.
yeah. Well, but I feel like maybe the difference is like if I were dating somebody and like seeing them like on a daily basis, eventually it would just happen because they were here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's a matter of like how often you're actually in my presence.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That's fair.
So I don't know. For some reason, 6 months feels like the number
Sure, I'll buy that.
because I feel like at that point, like if you've hit the point where you're now passing into the majority of a year,
Mm-hmm.
like you're not going to get rid of me based on that.
Yeah, yeah,
You're invested. Like what? Why does she have such weird eating habits?
yeah. If
Yeah,
you've stuck around
anything.
that long, like maybe even a little sooner, but like if you've stuck around for 6 months or more, they're not going to drop you just based on that.
Yeah, like the fact that I eat SpaghettiOs, but eat all the meatballs out with a toothpick first.
You told me about that.
And again, there's reasoning for all of these things. It's not good reasoning, but it started for a reason.
Oh, did I ever tell you about this is like it's a very minorly weird thing, but like there's a reason I do this. Did I ever tell you about the toothbrush thing that I do if I'm ever brushing my teeth in like at the same time as another person?
I can't remember.
Okay, so when I was a little kid and like, your parents put you to bed,
Mm-hmm.
like my dad and I like we would stand at the bathroom counter and brush our teeth at the same time, and every time we made eye contact in the mirror, he would just stop and stare at me for a
Oh,
second.
yes. Yes, you have told me that.
And now like a couple times, like even like at random points when I've been older, like if I like happened to be like wound up going to bed around the same time as my dad, we were both standing at the bathroom counter brushing our teeth, we'd still do the same thing, and I was like 23. And like now I like if it happens that I'm like Kyle's staying over here, I'm staying over there, like I do the same thing now, and like I'll tell people why, because it's just a thing that my dad did when I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a minor, like that's like in a couple months, less than 6 months before
Oh yeah,
I'll break that little fun fact or little personality quirk out.
yeah. I don't think that's a super weird one.
Especially because if you're like at the point where you're staying at people's houses, I think they're gonna know that you're, you know, got a couple things going on, that you're not just
Mm-hmm.
like your Tinder profile essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
That you're
And
not
some,
just the highlights.
yeah, yeah,
Like if you're staying
yeah,
over at someone's house, that's like you're kind of just like taking that as read.
yeah. I've noticed the older I get, the less I care about like when I was younger, when I would start to date somebody, I was like, they can't see me without makeup, or they can't see me in my like lazy clothes or whatever because they're gonna
Mm.
think I'm not attractive. Now I'm just like, nope, that's right off the bat.
This is me.
Yeah, it's like what you see is what you get. I'm not
Which I
gonna
feel
try to.
like a similar thing happens when you're like a preteen as well, where it's like when wearing a bra is exciting because it's a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
or like even when I was in like high school, I when I went to like a sleepover, I would sleep in a sports bra, and now I'm just like, fuck it, whatever, man.
Yep.
How many times have I texted you braless in Target like God intended? Like I just don't care.
Yep. I think the pandemic made me lazier about that.
Oh, 100%. Like, and also this time for the first time this year, and goddamn, I felt so powerful doing this. I wore shorts with like, and I hadn't shaved my legs in months. I felt so powerful. Just taking a little walk around my neighborhood with my fucking squatch legs on display. God, that was good.
Yeah, I feel like that's another one of those things. Like when you first start dating somebody, you're like, I must keep my legs shaved at all times, and then eventually you're just kind of like, we'll see how he reacts.
Actually, yeah, kind of like my ex-boyfriend, I don't think he ever saw me like when I had done my like no shave November essentially, but like I
Mm-hmm.
met Kyle in the middle of winter, and I was already like that, and
Mm-hmm.
then I realized like that he had already like seen me like wearing like pajama shorts, and I was like, "Oh, I just never like he's just never seen me with shaved legs, and he's fine with it." Which like
Yeah, yeah,
is kind of bare minimum. But like there
yeah.
was a point in my life where I personally would have just been so self-conscious, and then I was just like, "Oh wait, he's just never seen me without leg hair."
Mm-hmm. Because society has convinced us that it's somehow gross. I don't get
I have told this story in the podcast before because it pisses me off so much. It drives me crazy. My mom thinks it's gross that I like don't shave my legs for like the entirety of winter. And one time I was wearing like it was winter. It was just this past winter, so like but I had like cuffed jeans on and I was sitting, so then like they rode up a little bit and you could
it.
see all of my leg hair. And she was like, oh, "What does Kyle think of that?" And I was like, "He likes it," which is a true fact. But yeah, like this is like my nat like my natural human state.
Yeah, it
Like,
don't. How's it any different than arm hair
this is
or?
just what I look like. Sans intervention. Why should I
Yeah,
be ashamed?
yeah. No, and like we internalize it and stuff like growing up. Like, yes, it is gross, and it's like, wait, why?
No, and then even at the beginning of like this November, I literally think I texted Kyle. I was like, "It's No Shave November. Hope you like leg hair." Like there was like last relationship, never in a million years I would have been so self conscious about that. And now I was just like, "You don't like it? That's your problem."
The only time I shave my legs in the winter is the night before I run a race, and
And you get
it's
to be
not like
speedy.
it, yeah, not like it matters at all, but it's sort of like a mental preparation thing
I feel that.
because every single time as I'm shaving my legs in my head, I'm thinking like, fast as fuck, boy.
I'm best
Like,
fuck boy, as you should. No, I think frankly, the earlier you can get your weirdness out into your relationship, the better, in my personal opinion. Because like, if
that's
you're gonna
water.
scare them off, get it out of the way. They aren't
Yeah.
worth it.
Well, that's why I think I care less than I used to about like
Mm-hmm.
being seen without makeup and stuff like that. Because they're like, if that's something that's gonna bother you, let's figure that out
Yeah,
now.
let's get this over with.
Like, there is no point in wasting time
Yeah,
if
no.
you're just like shallow or
Yeah, if you're weirded out
like,
by the fact that like that I'm a disgusting little gremlin who like wants to handle your back knee for you, you can leave.
yep, yep. Yeah, but I think particularly weird things I would wait.
Like particularly weird, you got to give it a little bit of time, but
Yeah,
like
you
definitely
gotta,
don't hide it for like a year and then like
yeah,
come out swinging with that.
you gotta
You boil the frog.
start small and ramp your way up to
Yep,
the
you boil the
weirdness.
fucking frog. But like boil the frog as fast as you can.
Yeah, yeah, because you don't want to be wasting time if it
Yeah,
is
because if
something
it's gonna be
that,
a problem, get it over with.
yeah, agreed.
This has been enlightening.
Mm-hmm. Just putting our weirdness on display.
Yeah, it's great. Technically, I am potentially embarrassing myself more than you, but whatever.
Oh,
I don't know, just generally being grosser on Maine. I don't think
oh,
there's anything gross about you.
yeah. Honestly, I can't think of any gross habits because I've actually been like obsessively clean most of my life.
And that's my thing. Like, I'm not a. Would hope people don't think of me as a dirty person because I
No,
definitely
no,
don't think I am. I don't know why I'm like this.
yeah. I mean, with stuff like that, I'd be like, ooh, gross. Like I wouldn't want to. Yeah, I just my mom used to make fun of me a lot because I was so germophobic as a kid, particularly. I'm much better than I
Fascinating.
used to. Yeah, much better than I used to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is like kind of like a little podcast catchphrase for me at this point. Maybe I am just gross, but I kind of don't like care if I am. Like
Yeah.
a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah. No, but that's my explanation for why I have like gross, weird things.
I would like to challenge you to think of one thing, not by the end of this episode, just like
Yeah.
period ever.
Like a gross, weird thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Even slightly.
Yeah, there might be something. I don't know. I'd have to think on it.
Again, I just want you to put that on the back burner, maybe for like next week or some shit. Just because
Okay.
I think it would be funny.
I'll try.
Nice. Um, Next thing is also a red. Well, it's a screenshot that somebody posts. A screenshot of a Tumblr post that somebody posted on Reddit because the internet is just screenshots from the 4 different social medias all posted to each other. So I will be sending that to this chat right now.
I did read the full thing. There's a lot of back and
There
forth.
is a lot. What the hell? So maybe like I'm trying to think about how I want to break this down, you know? Oh
because
boy.
reading the whole thing would be kind of a lot.
Reading the whole thing is kind of a lot.
So maybe we summarize.
Yeah, maybe we'll start with the, we'll start with the question and then we can break down some people's responses. How do I get this
Okay.
to go away? No, I don't want to try it out. Discord. Sorry, Discord is like.
I know it drives me nuts that it keeps suggesting, "Hey, you want to try?" No, I don't. I told you
No!
already.
No, I don't!
Multiple times.
Okay, so this starts with something that was posted on Twitter, and then the like discussion spawned on Tumblr when somebody posted it there. So it says, "Would you rather be trapped in a mall for 24 hours with a silverback gorilla or 5 black mambas?" Which anyone who's not familiar with what a black mamba is, it's a highly, highly venomous snake. And then somebody, Twitter user at Taylor Probably, retweeted or quote tweeted the original post with, "Are they like mad at me or just at the mall too?" Which is what sparked the discussion that we will be getting into.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I just don't. I think the snakes is the answer.
Interesting. I would go gorilla.
And this is why I want to like kind of break down the
The arguments they have.
the arguments they have point by point, because the first comment on this is by Tumblr user Trivially True. "Aren't gorillas gentle giants or something? I stay out of his way. He doesn't maul me. We have a nice time picking out clothes together in opposite sides of the mall." Which, like, when I see that, I'm like, maybe? I don't know. Because I have seen a rather lovely video of what appears to be a male silverback gorilla and his little gorilla son. And they're just, like, very, like, quietly, peacefully, curiously observing a little caterpillar. And, like, yeah, I know that they're, like, gigantic and could rip me limb from limb. But this little caterpillar's there, and he just gives it, like, doesn't squish it, doesn't do anything to it, gives it the gentlest little tap, and they just kind of watch it. And I'm like, oh, they kind of seem vaguely chill when you're not bothering them.
Mm-hmm.
So I see that, and I'm like, okay, maybe. But then there's a response to this by Tumblr user Friend Shaped Hole. I love Tumblr usernames, they're so fun. "Male gorillas are super aggressive and territorial. Also, they interpret nearly every human mannerism as a sign of aggression or a challenge. Smiling and eye contact are both things that zookeepers have to be taught to suppress when they're in the vicinity of gorillas." Okay. Oh, I love arguments on the internet of just people tossing random things back and forth at each other. The discussion continues with user at Trivially True again, this time pulling up a screenshot of the World Wildlife Organization website, or like the page on their website for gorillas. And what it says in this sort of little like blurb that you get before you click on the website, focusing on this thing that says gorillas are gentle giants and display many human-like behaviors and emotions, which, like, yes, they, are social creatures. They display emotions, not in the same way, clearly, because smiling is like a sign of aggression in gorillas. And the same user says, "Well, unless the mall is his native territory, I think I'm fine. I wasn't planning on smiling at him." Which, like, okay, yeah. Like, then maybe you do just chill at opposite ends of the mall and leave each other alone and pick out your clothing in peace.
Although, honestly, if I feel like I would have a hard time not smiling at a gorilla because, like, animals are cute and I also smile at all of them.
Knowing that my life would potentially be on the line if I did, I think that would make it a lot easier for me not to. Interesting. um the conversation continues with a new player jumping into the game, Max 1461. This is all irrelevant because the obvious answer is 5 black mambas. I mean, that's not actually very many snakes, and malls are fucking huge. And unlike a gorilla, you can definitely outrun a snake if it does show up. Find an open space in the mall where you can see any snake coming and just hang out there. Fucking easy. Okay.
You cannot outrun a snake.
It depends on the snake.
A black mamba?
Yeah, probably not, which is like we're going to get in these into the further discussion points. Um
And 100% could not outrun Harley.
no.
He is just fine.
Elphaba though, easy.
Well, yeah.
So like it does depend on the snake. I will give this person that.
Yes.
And perhaps
But
they
the
are
fact
sort of
that they're-
equating a black mamba with the movements of like a python or an anaconda or some other like generally slow ambush predator.
Yeah, but the fact that we're talking about specifically black mambas here,
Yeah.
I'm going to point out that part of their argument as weak.
Very weak. So, trivially true coming in again. Misguided. I would much rather have a mall mate I can easily see and hear coming. Fair point. I'm confident I can stay out of the gorilla's way, but if I step on a snake or one otherwise gets the jump on me, it's all over. It's not just about the physical danger either, it's about my mental health. One gorilla, unless he's actively mad at me, I just keep a healthy distance between us and make sure I never get trapped. With the snakes, it requires a lot more constant vigilance. Okay, point taken.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else hopping in, ghost palm technique. They should substitute chimpanzee for gorilla in this hypothetical. Trivially true. If it was a chimp, I'm taking the fucking snakes, which, like, so valid. Chimps are terrifying, in my personal opinion. Someone else, not wisely but too well. Black mambas have a reputation built on being very venomous and very fast. I'm not sure why you would think you could outrun 1 or 5 in an enclosed space like a mall. Point made. Deactivated Tumblr, and a now deactivated Tumblr account also joins the conversation at Chaumas, Chaumas, and it doesn't matter, they're deactivated. Malls usually have pretty slick floors and escalators. I'd choose the gorilla simply because I think it would make a more interesting story and a better selling autobiography, I Survived the Mall Gorilla, but I think I'd stand a pretty good chance at avoiding the mamba. They're fast and aggressive and will chase you, but unless we started immediately beside each other, I think my sneakers would have the terrain advantage over scutes, which is a other term for the belly scales on a snake. Maybe? I mean, I've seen snakes try to move on silk and it doesn't go very well. So, like, maybe if this is a, like, waxed linoleum mall floor, it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they're slick enough to make a difference, personally.
Yeah. And then some comments by, Yoricoid. Oh, like somebody took the guy from the Shakespeare play and made him into some sort of android. That's fun. Imagine a prankster gorilla doing slapstick humor and pantomime routines trying to get you to crack a smile so he has some excuse to flip out and tear you limb from limb. The ultimate try not to laugh compilation. And that was just added because somebody took a screenshot and added this to the conversation with the comment, "This is too good to leave hidden in the replies." So with all of these various opinions in mind, what do we think?
Gorilla.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
Yeah, just stay out of its, like, I would stay out of its way, not make eye contact, not smile, just head down.
Yeah. I mean, I would, like, hit one of those little convenience stores or someplace in the food court and get myself some food, maybe grab myself a bucket from some store, and then I'm going to find a place nice and high up where he won't even see me or make eye contact with me, and I'm just going to wait it out.
Yeah, honest. And again, I do like the sort of thing that starts all of this out, which is, are they, like, mad at me or just at the mall too? Because again, gorillas potential to be incredibly dangerous, but also, like, we've taught them sign language. Like, they are capable of interacting or sort of just, like, being next to humans, period. Like, as long as you aren't displaying any aggressive behaviors towards this animal, which, like, you know, I'm assuming you still have your phone, so you can definitely Google what not to do around a gorilla. Like, it doesn't say
Yeah,
you don't have your phone. So, like, I
yeah,
mean, I think as long as you follow that, I don't really think. And, like, again, the mall is not his native territory. I don't think he's gonna bother you.
yeah. I mean, I am not that I know that much about the behavior of gorillas, but like, I imagine it's just going to find a nice, comfortable spot and kind of hang out.
Yeah.
I don't imagine it really exploring or anything. Versus snakes, which tend to just go all over the place and want to explore.
And,
And
like, even if the gorilla was exploring, like, I think it would be a kind of chill, just like, checking out my environment, not like looking
yeah,
for prey, because that's not really what they do.
yeah. And I think even then, the point that somebody had made was one of my first thoughts. Like, at least you could hear and see it coming.
Yeah,
You could take evasive maneuvers.
yeah, like that's a pretty big animal. Like,
Like you're coming a mile away and be like, oh, I better, move somewhere further away or,
yeah,
before it gets here.
yeah, I think the gorilla is probably the answer.
Plus, one of my other immediate thoughts, which somebody pointed out, is like because you probably wouldn't hear or see the black mambas coming, you would have to feel like you were just constantly on edge.
Yeah, yeah, I
Like,
do get
and
that.
Mm-hmm. So much more stressful. Um, yeah, I think it's to me it's very clearly the gorilla. Again, I would just find a place out of the way, high up,
Mm-hmm.
so I have the um, a good view of everything,
Yeah,
and I'm less likely to be in its path,
yeah, just
and just
stake out
have my
somewhere on this. And again, like the average shopping mall is quite large, so just like stake out somewhere on the second floor.
yeah, yeah, and that's what I'm imagining, right? Because then you have like the balcony, maybe you can see it downstairs
Mm-hmm.
on the first floor, and
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that seems like a solid plan.
I think it's safer. That being said, I am terrified of silver.
Any particular reason, or just knowledge that they are as strong as they are? Like, do you have, is there specific like trauma? Is it
A
that
movie that
fucking
I
movie
mentioned.
Congo?
Yes, I was waiting for it. That's why I'm just sitting here like,
Yep. Which I still haven't watched, but
I
you've
know.
mentioned to me so many times that I now am like aware of its existence as like a thing you regularly think about.
I watched it as a kid, and so like that was burned into my mind as this is what gorillas are like, even though these
Yeah.
particularly vicious gorillas in the movie. Uh, yeah, no, just watching the way that they killed so many people in that movie,
Oh,
it
I'm
just
sure.
nope, 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 nope. So much nope.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they're, again, I will hold up as an example of them just chilling and doing their thing
No,
kind of pretty calmly,
no,
that video where they're just like just checking some shit out. That's kind of cool. It's very human like the way they're kind of just like checking
yeah.
some shit out.
Which, by the way, in the movie Congo, there is a gorilla that knows sign language,
You have said.
and they built a thing so that it actually, as it signs, it says the
I
words
love it.
out loud.
I need to. We will watch this
We gotta
together at
watch
some point.
it. Yeah,
It will
I don't
definitely
know.
happen.
Because again, Tim Curry's in it.
Oh my god, it's Tim Curry's birthday today that we're recording this.
Oh, happy birthday, Tim Curry! Even
The
though this
man
won't get out.
himself is 77. So anyone who saw him trending on Twitter, he's not dead.
I know, oh God.
He's trending. Literally, that's how I found out that it was his birthday today. So like there was like someone was like retweeting a PSA. It was like Tim Curry is not trending because he is dead. He is trending because it's his birthday.
Yeah, if he had been dead, this would be a day of mourning, and I would have just like not gone to work. And
Yeah, no, there would be no podcast episode.
yeah, nope, we're all in
Not
mourning.
today.
We've lost a legend.
No. Yeah, I hope the king is doing absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
What a fucking legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
11 out of 10. Amazing. Um I think the next thing I have on the list is going to technically on the list for today is going to spawn a discussion that's much longer than the amount of
Oh,
time that we have in, not that I even like do these episodes by like we only have this much time, but like I like to keep some approximate length consistency, so I think that's gonna push us over into like extra long episode territory. So I think we're gonna save that for the next one, which is gonna bring us to the weekly worsening. It all just continues, you know?
Yeah, it's almost always along the same themes. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Banana Man contributes to my worsening this
Banana Man
week.
definitely contributes. I recently purchased an embarrassing amount of Ghost merch because it was my birthday and I felt like I deserved it. That I'm just like waiting for it to show up,
Hmm.
which is fun.
I did buy a specific manga shelf.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah, that has not arrived yet, but like, because I have my Chainsaw Man books and my Death Note books just kind of sitting around. I got my Ryuk just sitting here because they have nowhere to go.
Mm,
So I'm gonna make a manga specific shelf, and so that's a thing now.
love it.
Whereas, a couple of months ago, I'd never read a manga in my life.
Amazing. Yeah, you know, the Death Note brain rot continues, the Attack on Titan brain rot continues.
Other way worse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and so everything else goes to cosplay stuff. My contacts arrived today.
Yeah!
Like here's my power ones.
Hell yeah. Oh, you got the Makima ones too?
I did. Here's the Makima one.
Cool.
So that's pretty exciting stuff. And I bought all the fabric to make myself a custom power jacket. And
Yes!
I spent a good chunk of my afternoon today cutting the pattern and putting it together.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
have to get the fur trim for the jacket that I found for Nihil at some point this week and do the sort of alterations adding that to the jacket. And I think this weekend probably I'm going to do a full cosplay test because I don't want to be doing the like I don't want to be putting the contact in for the first time morning of, and I also don't want to be doing the hair and makeup for the first time ever morning of. Like I want to get a vague idea of what's going to be happening.
yeah.
So that's a thing to look forward to this weekend. You will definitely be receiving pictures of that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna work on the jacket this weekend. Hopefully. I mean, I don't imagine it will actually take that long. I'll probably get it done like in a day.
Yeah, I would assume so.
I'm hoping to get that done this weekend and resume work on my teapot for my greg.
Hell yes.
Yeah, it's just man. So I was in Joanne Fabrics yesterday buying all that fabric, and then yeah, I just and I had sent you the picture with the cover of this, asking you if the fabric color looked good. And so I was like, yeah, it's one thing that I was walking around with Joanne Fabrics carrying this, but like I realized in the middle of walking around with it, what's on the back cover.
Oops.
And I'm like walking around with this, and I'm like, oh, people probably,
It's fine. At least it wasn't the one with Reze on it.
yeah, yeah. But I was like, I didn't realize, and I looked down, and I was like, oh, people are probably thinking I'm kind of strange.
Pretend I do not see it.
Whatever.
You know,
Yeah,
as
they
long
don't
as
know.
you listen, you will never be as bad as the man who wore a hentai sweatshirt to the Vatican. As long as you are not that person, it's fine. And I will be finding that photo and linking it here so people know that I'm not making it up.
Man, the amount of time I spent staring at pictures of power and looking at the buttons and trying to find the right buttons to put on this.
Such a mood. I know I'm gonna have to order the ones that I need for the waistcoat and jacket for Terzo, but I have months for that, so not
Yeah.
immediately pressing.
Yeah. And also, I noticed on the cover here, she's wearing different shoes. It's not the red and white ones. So she
Oh,
doesn't always wear red and white.
huh.
And I have shoes that are closer to those. So
Whatever feels
maybe,
right to you, bestie. I did like the idea of you thrifting shoes and making them custom, but
oh, I would never thrift shoes. That would gross me out too much.
bro, you're wearing socks. It's fine.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm. People's feet be sweating in those things. Nope.
Man, maybe I am gross.
I mean, you sweat through socks.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
shoes are one thing I can't.
Uh, so then how do you feel about bowling?
Oh, it grosses me out so much. Bowling is one of the grossest things ever.
Fascinating.
Yeah, sticking your fingers in those dirty holes in the ball. Nope. I mean, I do it, but it grosses me out a lot.
Noted. Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole Jim Gaffigan bit that he does about bowling that very much sums up my feelings on it.
I will look that up. Hmm.
I hear him in my head going, "How dirty are those holes?"
All right, yeah. I mean, on the one hand, fair enough. On the other hand, it's fun. Although
Yeah, but
I hate when they don't let you put the bumpers up when you're not children. That's
why
happened to
would
me
you?
several times. It pisses me off so much.
You use the bumpers?
Yeah, I'm bad at it. I'm terrible at bowling. There for a good
Oh
time.
my! That's why you just roll gutter balls. Like that's the whole point.
Oh no, I want to knock things over.
I've never had bumpers on, even as a kid.
Oh, one time my friends and I were in high school and we got in trouble for trying to put them up in a bowling alley. We were all terrible bowlers.
But I figure if I wear shoes more like what she's wearing in the picture, and then I bring the book with me as evidence,
I don't think you even need to do that, bestie.
how
I
exact
mean, you
it
can
is.
have it in your bag if you feel like it, but
Even if, especially if you make this side, like it'll be.
that's what I'm gonna do. I'm very excited to do that. I'm gonna look up like some cosplay weapon build technique like videos slash articles tonight. Yeah, so
Yeah.
just the brain rot spreads
Yeah.
as it does every week.
Yeah, the number of things that I now have for my power cosplay is just insane to me.
I need to find the clip of you saying like, "Yeah, I just don't really understand the drive to cosplay."
But again, as I said, I don't
No, I
have the.
know. It's just I'm taking what I can get. I know that you are doing this because I want to do it and what did you say? Social bonding. I will take it. I just think it's funny that you're doing it at all.
It's like if it weren't for you, I wouldn't go to conventions. Even if I went, I wouldn't dress up. But you're like into it, and I'm like, we're friends. Let's have this fun thing together. But yeah, I otherwise.
But
Plus,
I
again,
just think it would be very funny for me to like find that episode of the podcast, clip that, and then like cut together everything you've said. Like, I got this for a cosplay, I got this for a cosplay, I got this for a cosplay. I just think it would be funny.
I feel like if I'm gonna do a thing, I want to do it right.
Oh yeah, so valid.
And the main reason I want to do the jacket is like if I went as far as to get these fangs and these contacts and all that, it's like I might as well
Yeah, don't fuck around.
go all out and try to do the contest.
Oh,
Which do
this.
we have time for that in advance?
No, you sign up like day of.
Okay,
There's like
cool.
a table you just go fill stuff out.
Lovely.
Hell yes. Ooh, exciting, exciting. So yeah, we continue to be insane, and we'll be even more insane next week. So join us then. As always, thank you for fighting with us, friends. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and we will see you then. Adios. This week's episode of the Fighting with Friends podcast was hosted by Bridget Kelly and Dr. Sarah Brooks. You can find other episodes of the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or your other favorite listening platform. Follow us on Twitter at BridgetKelly98 and at AndSarahSaid. Rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice. Like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch and Facebook, and join our Discord community using the links in the description. You can also help support us via the Acast supporter feature, or consider donating to our Patreon for early access to episodes and fun bonus content. Thanks for listening!